Welcome to the gardens at Sycamore Spring Farm the first week of May. We wanted to give you folks a look at what's happening in the garden, what's growing. As you come on in here, you see our bed of early lettuces that are just absolutely looking phenomenal right now. We have some red spot romaine, we have some escarole, we have a number of green leaf lettuces. My personal favorite is the green bibs. They're over here in this next section. And down at the far end there where we don't have anything planted yet, that will be where we'll plant some more lettuce as it gets hotter in the season, and the shade from these big old beautiful Norway maple trees will actually shade that lettuce for enough hours in the day that we can hopefully continue to get a nice spring lettuce even into late June. But we got a couple of projects that we're working on right now that we wanted to share with you folks, so come on down this way. Now right here in this bare area, we're getting ready to till it up, and we're going to be putting an okra bed in here. And down at the far end where you can see all of that straw piled up, we actually have potatoes that are around 4 to 6 inches coming through the straw there right now. So we're looking forward to those red Pontiac potatoes later in the season. And then as you move on down, here is the grape arbor row. Last year we actually enjoyed 3 varieties of grapes here for the CSA members, and they're looking better than ever this year, so we're hoping that we're going to get some more of those wonderful Concords and Muscadine grapes. And then next down as you come to your left here, we come to garlic. We have our garlic growing. It's looking pretty good. And then another new planting of spring onions is beside that, and some additional greens down there. We have some broccoli and some collards. And I think that there is some mustard greens there on the right. And then here, if you look real close, you can see the first of the tomatoes that we put in yesterday. With the strange weather that we've been having, we had to wait until we were absolutely certain that we weren't going to have any more cold nights. And so these are the heirloom tomatoes. They are a determinate variety of tomato that will grow very, very tall. So we'll come back through here in a couple of weeks and put some nice tall 8-foot stakes in there so that they can climb up those stakes. And here's one of the projects I was telling you about that we're actually working on today. We just cleared this ground and we've put the teepees up. We're getting ready to put some zucchini and yellow coconut squash will go inside of the teepees in mounds. We'll plant about 6 different squash plants in there, and then we'll weed it out to the 4 strongest ones. And then we're going to plant the Kentucky pole beans will go around the edge of each pole, and then they'll climb right on up here, and we'll have squash and beans growing together here in this section of the garden. We did this last year in a children's garden, and it was really successful. The children could come along and actually pick the green beans, and they were such a wonderful producing green bean that we thought we would actually put them in the main garden this year. So we're just finishing preparing the beds here to plant our pole beans and our summer squash underneath these teepees, because they're a great little idea for the squash to grow and shade the ground, and the beans to climb up the poles, and then they're easy to pick because they're actually hanging from the poles that they grow up. So we're going to show you how we're going to plant this project. So the center of the soil, we've mounded up into a nice mound about 2 foot wide. And we're going to go ahead and plant a mix. I like to mix my squashes. So we're doing a yellow summer squash and a green zucchini mixed. And I don't know which seeds I'm planting in here, but I'm sure I'll get a mix of them. And we're going to put about 5 seeds down, space them apart, and then when they come up, we'll just leave, you know, say the 4 best ones. We might even put 6 in there. So you just drop them down. You just plant them about 1.5 inches deep. Press them down a little bit. Cover them over. And we'll come back and water them when we finish planting the beans. Now the beans we're planting are Kentucky Wonder. They're a pole bean that my grandparents used to grow on our farm in North Carolina. And we'll probably put, you know, about 4 or 5 beans around each pole leg. We'll just make a little circular trench, staying pretty close to the pole. But we want to have that bean so that it can get deep enough down in there. So we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put in 5 for good luck, and we want to press those down, make good contact with the soil, and cover those over. And it's that simple. You do that around each leg, then you give them a good drink, and wait. And in about a week to 10 days, we should have squash and beans coming up. And here are more tomatoes. We have some celery planted in these next 2 rows, which has suffered a little bit from the strange weather and cold nights, but I think they're going to be snapping back here pretty quickly. And then we have a row of broccoli. If it doesn't get too hot too quick, we may have some broccoli yet this spring. And then the radishes are the next row over, and we've already been harvesting those for a couple of weeks now, and probably this week we'll be just about finished with those radishes, and we'll have to plant some more. Then another row of spring onions up there, and then one of my all-time favorites is the absolutely fantastic rhubarb bed. And I'd like for you all to just take a look at it because I'm pretty proud of this rhubarb. It's turned out magnificent this year. It's one of those, you know, perennial plants that's, you know, once you put it in the ground, you get to harvest from it year after year. I encourage everybody to put a rhubarb bed in somewhere along the edge of a fence at your own garden.